I thought our 5th anniversary would be the most memorable night of my life. I was right, just not in the way I had imagined. I had planned everything perfectly. Reservations at her favorite restaurant, Yellow Tulips, because she loved them, a special gift I had been saving for. But then she texted me saying she had an emergency at work and could not make it. I trusted her completely. So I decided to wait at home with candles and wine. Then my phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. Inside was a video. That video changed everything. Before I tell you what was in that video, let me know where you are watching from in the comments. And if you have ever trusted someone completely only to have that trust shattered, hit that like button and subscribe. You will want to hear how I handled what came next. Lydia and I had been married for 5 years. We met in college when I was studying engineering, and she was in marketing. Everyone said we were the perfect couple. We built our life together, bought a small house in the suburbs of Portland. I worked as an engineer at a tech company with a stable income. Lydia was a marketing manager at a large agency. She often came home late because of projects, or at least that is what she told me. Looking back now, the signs had been there for about 6 months before our anniversary. Small things that I explained away because I wanted to believe in us. Lydia started checking her phone more often, walking out to the balcony when she texted. She bought new clothes, changed her hairstyle, started going to the gym more frequently. Her meetings began stretching until 10 or 11 at night. Weekends were filled with client meetings that could not be rescheduled. At the time, I convinced myself she was just working hard for a promotion. I was actually proud of her dedication. I told myself I needed to support her more, so I took on everything at home. I cooked dinner every night, did the laundry, cleaned the house. I wanted her to focus on her career without worrying about household chores. I thought I was being a good husband. 2 weeks before our anniversary, I started planning the perfect evening. I made a reservation at Canlis, the fine dining restaurant where we had our first date. I bought a silver pendant necklace with our initials engraved together, M and L, intertwined in an elegant design. I arranged my work schedule to leave early. I was so excited that I even told my coworkers about my plans. They seemed happy for me. On the morning of our anniversary, I woke up early and made breakfast for Lydia, pancakes with blueberries, her favorite. I sent her a sweet text reminding her about our evening together. She responded normally, sending back a heart emoji. Everything seemed fine. Everything seemed normal. At 4 in the afternoon, I left the office and stopped by the florist to pick up the yellow tulips I had ordered. By 5:30, I was home dressed in my best suit, ready for our night. At 5:45, my phone chimed. A text from Lydia. My heart sank as I read the words. Babe, I am so sorry. Emergency meeting with a client. Can we reschedule? I stared at the message, disappointment washing over me. But I understood. Work was important to her. I typed back quickly. Of course, work comes first. I will wait for you at home. I called the restaurant and canceled our reservation, apologizing for the late notice. Then I drove home with the bouquet of tulips sitting in the passenger seat mocking me. I decided to make the best of it. I would create a romantic dinner at home instead. I cooked her favorite pasta from scratch, opened a bottle of red wine, and lit candles around the dining room. The table looked beautiful. I sat down to wait, checking my phone every few minutes. 6 o'clock came and went. Then 7. At 7:15, my phone vibrated on the table. An unknown number. The message was simple. You deserve to know the truth. Below, it was a video file. My first instinct was to ignore it. Probably spam or some scam. But something made me click on it. Curiosity, maybe. Or perhaps some part of me already knew. The video was clear shot from across the street. A boutique hotel in downtown Portland. The timestamp showed 6:30 earlier that same evening. I watched as a black Uber pulled up to the entrance. The back door opened and Lydia stepped out. She was wearing a red dress I had never seen before. She looked beautiful. She walked into the hotel lobby without hesitation, like she had done this many times before. The video cut to another angle inside the lobby. Lydia stood near the elevator, and then a man approached her. He was tall, late 40s, with gray hair and an expensive suit. They kissed. Not a friendly peck. A real kiss. Then they walked hand in hand into the elevator. The video ended. I dropped my phone. It clattered onto the table, the screen still glowing. The candles flickered. The pasta sat there getting cold. I felt like someone had punched me in the stomach. I could not breathe. I picked up my phone with shaking hands and watched the video again. And again. 3 times total. Each time hoping I had seen it wrong. But there was no mistake. That was Lydia. That was today. That was our anniversary. Everything suddenly made sense. The late nights, the secretive phone calls, the new clothes, the changes. They were not about work. They were about him. She had an emergency meeting, all right, at a hotel, with another man, while I sat at home with candles and wine like a fool. I wanted to call her right then, scream at her, demand answers. But I stopped myself. I needed to think clearly. I needed more than just this video. I needed a plan. I saved the video to my cloud storage, my laptop, and a USB drive. I took screenshots of the message and saved the unknown number. Then I replied, "Who are you? How do you know this?" 10 minutes passed. Then a response came. "I work at the hotel. Saw them together many times. You seem like a good guy. She does not deserve you." My hands were still shaking as I typed back asking for more information. The person responded quickly. "They come here at least twice a week. Been going on for 4 months. Always the same room. Suite 408. The man is Gerald Richardson. He is the CEO of Richardson Corp., one of your wife's clients." I sat in the darkness, not bothering to turn on the lights. The candles had burned down to nothing. The food was cold and congealed. 9 o'clock passed, then 10. Lydia still was not home. I did not call her. I did not text. I just sat there thinking about our 5 years together. All the sacrifices I had made. I had turned down a job offer in San Francisco because she did not want to leave Portland, did not want to be far from her family. All those nights I cooked dinner and waited for her to come home. All those times I encouraged her when she was stressed about work. Everything felt like a lie now. At 11, I heard her key in the lock. The door opened and Lydia walked in. Her makeup was still perfect. She smelled like fresh perfume. When she saw me sitting in the dark living room, she jumped. "Oh God, you scared me. Why are you sitting in the dark?" I reached over and turned on the lamp. The light revealed the untouched dinner on the table. I looked directly into her eyes. "How was your meeting?" She did not miss a beat. Exhausting. Client was so demanding. "I am sorry I missed our dinner." She walked toward me trying to kiss me. I pulled away. "Which client was it?" She hesitated for just a second. Morrison and Associates. New account." I nodded slowly. "I see. You must be tired. Go shower." She looked relieved and headed upstairs. I listened to the water running, knowing she was washing away the evidence. I decided not to confront her tonight. I needed to prepare more carefully. The next morning, I woke up early while Lydia was still asleep. I called my boss and took a sick day. I needed time to handle this properly. When Lydia woke up, I acted normal. She kissed me on the cheek. "Sorry again about last night. Let me make it up to you this weekend." I smiled and nodded. After she left for work, I got to work myself. First, I called a divorce attorney. The consultation was straightforward. With clear evidence of adultery, I would have significant leverage in the divorce proceedings. He advised me to gather as much proof as possible. I contacted the person who had sent me the video. They were taking a huge risk, but they agreed to help. They sent me records showing the hotel check-in history for Suite 408. Lydia and Gerald had been there 32 times in the past 4 months. I printed everything and created a comprehensive file. Next, I opened a separate bank account and transferred half of our joint savings. I contacted our bank about our shared assets. I met with the lawyer again and signed a retainer agreement. He assured me that with this evidence, the divorce would be straightforward. I could keep the house since I had paid the down payment before we got married. I started moving my important personal belongings to a safe place. Documents, my laptop, family photos. I called my best friend Kyle and asked if I could stay with him if things got ugly. He said yes, immediately, no questions asked. 3 days after I received that video, I was ready. It was Friday evening. Lydia came home from work around 7. I was sitting in the living room, my laptop open on the coffee table. The video was ready to play. "Lydia, we need to talk. Sit down." My voice was cold, emotionless. She looked worried. "What is wrong?" I turned the laptop screen toward her. "Watch this." I pressed play. Her face went white as the video played. Her hands started shaking. When it ended, she looked at me with tears forming in her eyes. "That is not—" "I can explain." I cut her off. "Do not. I have records. 4 months. Twice a week. Suite 408. Gerald Richardson, CEO of Richardson Corp. or your client." She collapsed onto the couch, sobbing. "I am sorry. I did not mean for this to happen." My voice remained steady. "On our anniversary, Lydia, You chose to spend our 5th anniversary in a hotel with him, while I was here with candles and dinner waiting for you, she tried to explain through her tears. It just happened. Gerald understands me. The pressure at work. You do not understand what it is like. I felt anger rising but kept it controlled. So you slept with your client because of work pressure, while I was home cooking every meal, doing all the housework so you could focus on your career. She reached for my hand. Please, we can fix this. We can go to counseling. I pulled away from her touch. Pack your things. I want you out of this house by the end of the weekend. Lydia called her parents that night. I could hear her crying on the phone in the bedroom. The next morning, Saturday, there was a loud knock on the door. I opened it to find her parents, Richard and Patricia, standing there with stern expressions. For the past 5 years, they had treated me like a son. Richard was a retired banker, dignified and proper. Patricia was a homemaker who always baked cookies when we visited. But today they looked at me like I was a stranger. Richard pushed past me into the house. Magnus, we need to talk about this situation. His tone was authoritative, like he was chairing a board meeting. Patricia rushed to Lydia, who was sitting on the couch crying. Oh, sweetie, it is going to be okay. Mama is here. I closed the door and crossed my arms, waiting to hear what they had to say. Richard turned to face me. Look, I understand you are upset, but divorce is too extreme. You need to think about this rationally. I stared at him in disbelief. Too extreme. She had an affair for 4 months. She spent our anniversary in a hotel with another man. Patricia joined in, still holding Lydia. Marriages go through rough patches. You need to be more understanding. You cannot just throw away 5 years over one mistake. Understanding, I had been nothing but understanding. I supported her career completely. I did everything around the house. I sacrificed job opportunities for her. What more could I have done? Richard shook his head. That is exactly the problem, Magnus. You were too accommodating. Lydia needed someone stronger, someone more ambitious, someone who could challenge her. His words hit me like a slap. You are blaming me for her affair. Patricia spoke up. We are not blaming anyone, but you have to take some responsibility here. You let her work too much. You did not pay enough attention to her needs. I pointed at my laptop, which still had the video paused on the screen. Did you see this? She lied to me. She was with him on our anniversary, the day we were supposed to celebrate our marriage. Richard glanced at the screen dismissively. Gerald is a successful man, a CEO. He gave Lydia the attention and excitement you could not provide. You have to understand she has needs. I could not believe what I was hearing. These people who I had considered family were defending their daughter's infidelity. They were making excuses for her betrayal. Lydia looked up at me with red eyes. Daddy is right. Maybe if you were more ambitious, more driven, this would not have happened. I needed someone who understood my world. That was the final straw. The woman I had loved for 7 years, who I had married and built a life with, was now blaming me for her own choices. I stood up, my voice firm and final. Get out, all of you, right now. Richard puffed up his chest. You cannot talk to us like that. This is a family matter. I walked to the front door and opened it. Actually, this is my house. I paid the entire down payment before we got married. Check the deed if you want. The mortgage is in my name. So, yes, I can ask you to leave. Patricia stood up, her voice shrill. You are making a huge mistake. Lydia is willing to work on this marriage. She loves you. I looked at Lydia, then back at her mother. The only mistake I made was trusting any of you. You have 24 hours to get Lydia's belongings out of here. After that, I am changing the locks. Richard stepped toward me, his face red. You will regret this. We will make sure you regret this decision. I held the door open wider. I already regret wasting 5 years of my life. Leave, now. They gathered their things, Lydia crying dramatically, Patricia comforting her, Richard glaring at me with pure hatred. As they walked out, Richard turned back. You are going to end up alone and miserable. Nobody else will put up with you. I closed the door in his face and locked it. Then I picked up my phone and called my lawyer. File the papers Monday morning. I want this done as quickly as possible. The following Monday, my attorney filed for divorce with all the evidence attached. Hotel records, the video text message logs that my lawyer had subpoenaed from the phone company. Lydia's attorney tried to negotiate, but there was no room for discussion. The evidence was irrefutable. The court proceedings moved faster than I expected. With clear proof of adultery, the judge was sympathetic to my case. I kept the house because I had indeed paid the down payment from my savings before marriage. We split the joint assets based on contribution percentages, and since I had earned and contributed 70%, that is what I received. I did not have to pay alimony. Lydia got her personal belongings and her car. That was it. Meanwhile, Gerald's wife found out about the affair. Apparently, I was not the only one who got an anonymous tip. His marriage fell apart too, and the scandal affected his company's reputation. To avoid further damage, he fired Lydia from her position. She lost everything: her marriage, her job, her affair partner, all within a matter of weeks. Richard and Patricia kept calling me. At first, they were threatening. "You are destroying our daughter's life. We will tell everyone what kind of man you really are." Then they tried begging. "Please, Magnus, be reasonable. She made a mistake. Everyone deserves a second chance." Finally, they resorted to insults. "You are a heartless man, cold and unforgiving. You never really loved her." I blocked all their numbers. I blocked them on every social media platform. When mutual friends tried to reach out on their behalf, I politely declined to engage. I changed my phone number entirely. At work, I requested a transfer to our Seattle office. My company approved it within 2 weeks. I needed a fresh start somewhere without memories of Lydia everywhere I looked. The first 6 months after the divorce were the hardest. I went to therapy to process the betrayal and the trauma. My therapist helped me understand that I had done nothing wrong. I had been a devoted husband. Lydia's choices were hers alone. The affair was not my fault. Her parents' reaction was not my fault. I had every right to walk away from people who disrespected me. Slowly, I started to rebuild. Seattle was good for me. It was a new city, a fresh environment. I joined a rock climbing club and met people who knew nothing about my past. I started volunteering at an animal shelter on weekends. The dogs did not care about my divorce or my ex-wife's betrayal. They just wanted love and attention. It was healing in a way I had not expected. I took a cooking class, something I had always wanted to do but never had time for. I learned techniques I had never known before. I made new friends there, people who were positive and genuine. My co-workers at the Seattle office were welcoming and kind. They did not know about my previous life in Portland, and I did not feel the need to explain. I could just be Magnus the engineer who liked hiking and cooking. About a year after the divorce, I met someone at my climbing club. Her name was Amanda. She was a social worker with a kind heart and an honest smile. We started as friends, climbing partners who would grab coffee after our sessions. There was no rush, no pressure. We talked about everything: our jobs, our hobbies, our families. When I eventually told her about my divorce, she listened without judgment. She did not try to fix anything or offer empty platitudes. She just understood. Amanda was different from Lydia in every way. She valued honesty above all else. She communicated openly about her feelings. When she said she would be somewhere, she was there. When she made a commitment, she kept it. Trust was not something I gave easily anymore, but Amanda earned it slowly, patiently, one day at a time. 2 years after I discovered Lydia's affair, I was sitting in my apartment in Seattle looking out at Puget Sound. The water was calm, reflecting the evening sky. I thought about everything that had happened: the betrayal, the divorce, the confrontation with her parents, cutting them all out of my life completely. I did not regret any of it. I had heard through mutual acquaintances that Lydia was still living with her parents. She had found work at a smaller agency, but nothing close to her previous position. Gerald had divorced his wife, but did not end up with Lydia. He had moved on to someone else, leaving her behind just like he had left his wife. The irony was not lost on me, but I felt nothing when I heard this news. No satisfaction, no sympathy, just neutrality. That was when I knew I had truly moved on. I was not carrying anger or bitterness anymore. I had learned valuable lessons from the experience. I learned that trust must be placed carefully with people who deserve it. I learned that family does not always mean unconditional support. Sometimes family members will defend their own, even when they are wrong. I learned that I deserved respect and loyalty in a relationship. I learned that forgiveness does not mean accepting someone back into your life. You can forgive someone for your own peace of mind while still maintaining boundaries. I learned that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away. Cutting toxic people out of your life is not cruel. It is self-preservation. I did not need approval from Lydia's parents or anyone else. I did not need them to understand my decision. I had made the choice that was right for me, and that was enough. That video, as painful as it was to watch, had been a strange kind of gift. It freed me from a marriage built on lies. It showed me who people really were when tested. Now I was building a new life with someone who truly respected me. Amanda and I were taking things slow, but I could see a future with her. A future built on honesty and mutual respect. A future where I did not have to wonder if my partner was lying to me. Where I did not have to do everything myself while being blamed for not doing enough. If anyone out there is going through something similar, my advice is this. Do not be afraid to cut off toxic people, no matter who they are. Family, friends, a spouse. If they disrespect you, if they betray you, if they blame you for their own bad choices, you do not owe them anything. You deserve to be with people who value you. You deserve honesty, you deserve loyalty, and you deserve peace. Respect yourself more than you fear being alone, because being alone is better than being with people who make you feel worthless. That anniversary was supposed to be a celebration of 5 years together. Instead, it became the first day of the rest of my life. And honestly, I would not have it any other way. Have you ever had to cut toxic family members out of your life? How did you handle it? Drop your story in the comments below. I would love to hear how you found your strength. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button. Subscribe to hear more stories about overcoming betrayal and finding peace. Share this video with someone who might need to hear that it is okay to walk away from people who do not respect them. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it helps someone out there realize their own worth. Stay strong and remember that you deserve better. Take care.